Today we're looking at 7 songs that may masquerade as love songs, but when you dig into the lyrics, they're about as romantic as a restraining order. From unrequited love to insecurities like obsession, possession and other fun toxic traits, you'll feel like the singer is actually lurking in the bushes with a pending court case. Now I'm bound to miss some good ones, so if you know of any more off-putting love songs, let me know in the comments. So with that out of the way, let's get to the first one on the list, Every Breath You Take by the Sting-led band The Police. Speaking to NME, Sting said that it's a nasty little song about jealousy and surveillance and ownership. Somehow it's even more predatory than Puff Daddy's version, but then again, he didn't even write that one himself. Although Sting knew how insecure and sinister this character is, many are oblivious to the dark lyrics because the calm instrumental lures them in. And no matter how popular the song gets, it won't close the stream of endless comments like this one. It's also still played at countless weddings, thinking that it's affectionate, being watched like a hawk. Sting revels in people misunderstanding the lyrics. When a couple said it was their wedding song, he laughed and sarcastically said, well, good luck. Although it is about a fictional character, it's not completely detached from Sting's own life. He wrote this fresh out of a divorce. He said it started off sweet, but devolved into a jealous mess. Sting clearly wasn't over losing her, see the Police song Can't Stand Losing You for more where that came from, and it took a turn away from any healthy signs of love and devolved into being possessive over his ex. This is most apparent in this line.
Oh, can't you see, you belong to me.
I know, not the best thing to say when her foot's out the door, but it does get worse. He gets even more creepy in the post-chorus here.
Every move you make, and every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stick, I'll be watching you.
You can just imagine Sting lurking in the bushes when he's singing this. He doesn't want her to be happy and doesn't even believe she can be without him. It mirrors John Lennon's insecurities in his Beatles song I talked about in my last video, Run For Your Life, where he'd rather see her dead than to be with another man. Back to Sting's song, in the bridge he says, I've been lost without a trace, so that explains why he's so desperate to have her back, as he doesn't have an identity without her. So he'll get her back by any means necessary, as his identity crisis is too much for him to handle. Along the same lines is this Beach Boys song, God Only Knows. Now this one is the most subjective on the list, so take it with a grain of salt, but don't worry, I'm not going to go so far out there. I mean, I've seen someone else argue that it's about polyamory, and the line, as long as there are stars above you, means he's living it up in the daytime. But to be fair, I do think the song's not as lovey-dovey as it seems. For starters, the song kicks off with I May Not Always Love You, which isn't the most romantic opener ever, as he's warning her that his love will feel strained eventually. Opening with doubt is rarely seen in a love song. Brian Wilson thought it was too risky to do so, but his co-writer Tony Asher convinced him to keep it in. But on the other hand, you could also say maybe he's just being realistic about love. It's probably better to be a bit more realistic than to promise that your love is eternal. If you've seen my last video where I talked about the Outkast song Hey Ya, you know that that's an impossible standard to keep. But back to the song, it's undeniably a collection of mixed messages. Going from my life would still go on, believe me, to saying but what good would living do me if he was without her. He flips from being nauseatingly dependent to accepting defeat, that the relationship has passed its expiry date. That's an unstable headspace for anyone to be around, and if his partner is thinking of leaving, he's guilt-tripping her to stay. Anyway, all I'm saying is I wouldn't want anything to do with him. I mean, if I was her, I don't swing that way. At number 3 is R.E.M's The One I Love, which on first glance seems like a romantic ballad. Even the first line lures you into believing that, but like with the Beach Boys' Bait and Switch, the lyric that comes after turns that expectation on its head. Have a listen.
This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I've left behind.
That second line is an admission of guilt, with the singer admitting that he left behind the one that he still loves. The next line is the most brutal line in the whole song.
A simple prop to occupy my time.
I know, tell her how you really feel. Calling a woman an object is one thing, but a prop takes it to another narcissistic level. Unlike objects in the real world, a prop just needs to pass as real within the confines of the space that he's in. Their autonomy is secondary to the one in control. Their sole purpose is to serve the singer Michael Stipe's wishes. To be fair, seeing as I brought his real name into it, in Stipe's defense, he didn't write this about anyone in particular, saying, "It wasn't directed at any one person. I would never write a song like that. Even if there was one person in the world thinking this song is about me, I could never sing it or put it out." He also said that the song just came up from somewhere and I recognised it as being violent and awful. And so, instead of going the Sting route and laughing at people who had missed the dark meaning and play it at a wedding, Stipe said that it's probably better that they think it's a love song at this point. As some self-awareness is creeping in on my side that I could be ruining people's favourite songs, like I'm telling a kid the Mall Santa's Just My Neighbour, I'll quickly detour to one which is a bit more well known for not being a love song. It's Fleetwood Mac's song Everywhere, sung by the late Christine McVie. Like a lot of these, there's also a dependency angle, but it's being obscured by the bright and dreamy melody and instrumental. If you look at the lyrics and the music video, it's clear that the song's about unrequited love, meaning the singer's longing for someone but they don't feel the same way. She's insecure about this and is rushing them to make a decision quickly. Anyway, you can hear this desperation in this snippet.
Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. Come along, baby, we better make a start. You better make it soon before you break my heart.
There's not much that needs analysing, so let's just move on to the next one. At number 5 is the Rolling Stones song Angie. It's about the end of a romance with a girl called, unsurprisingly, Angie. Co-writing it with Jagger, guitarist Keith Richards pulled the same defence as Stipe, saying that the song was not about any particular person and the name Angie was picked out of a hat. Whilst the latter is true minus the literal hat, Jagger actually pulled from his own life, just coming out of a breakup with Marianne Faithfull. He's had so many failed relationships I wouldn't put it past him that he picked her based on the hope of her last name. Anyway, some say the song's actually about addiction, but I don't think it is, and besides, there's always someone who says that. The type to say, if you play it in reverse, it sounds like devil's lettuce. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. In my opinion, I think it's about a toxic relationship where, like we saw with God Only Knows, the relationship's past its expiry date, but the couple is holding on anyway. The singer's coming to that realisation that they're at their wit's end and they're out of the honeymoon phase. You can hear this the clearest in this snippet.
With no loving in our households and no money in our coats, you can't say we're satisfied.
With the first line, with no loving in our soul, Jagger's at the point that Wilson foresaw in God Only Knows, where they've fallen out of love. The next line hints that financial issues led to that loveless outcome, which can destroy any relationship, although I doubt Mick Jagger was really struggling with money at the time. Plausibility aside, he then goes, you can't say we're satisfied, which sounds like an amicable end is the best solution. Sometimes love and attraction isn't enough. Without stability, the love falls by the wayside and can't be maintained, so it's best to call it a day and move on. That awareness is all but confirmed later on.
Angie, you're beautiful, but ain't it time we said goodbye?
Fast forwarding to the end of the song, he goes, they can't say we never tried, which is as satisfying an outcome you can come to at the end of a relationship, so it sounds like he's ready to move on. And I'm also ready to move on. At number 6 is U2 with their ballad With or Without You. I know no one's forgiven them since Apple forced their album down our throats, but this one's before the iPhone when they were still making good music. Sounding like a typical slow ballad, it feels like Bono's singing about being romantically devoted to someone, but in actuality it's about feeling trapped in a state of dependency and conflicted emotions. At the time, the conflicted emotions Bono was going through was the feeling of being pulled in two directions. One side is the fast-paced life of a musician, the other is the pull of being a normal family man. Because of this disconnect, he's unreachable, despite overcoming rough patches together in the past. This is all but confirmed in the third verse.
Through the storm we reach the shore. You give it all, but I want more. And I'm waiting for you.
Singling out the second line, Bono is aware that he's the problem, the reason why they can't connect. What she gives will never be enough for him as it can't compete with his lifestyle. This makes the next line come off as hollow, that he's waiting for her. He might as well be waiting in a secret location that she doesn't know about. The final one in this bleak account on love is David Gray's song, which coincidentally shares its name with R.E.M's song being called The One I Love. On the surface, it sounds like a warm and uplifting ballad with the smooth guitar and soft vocals, but pay attention to the lyrics or just watch the video and you'll see it's about a man dying on a battlefield thinking about the person he loves at home. Don't take my word for it, hear it for yourself.
Perfect summer's night, no the wind that breathes. Just the bullets whispering gentle amongst the new green leaves. There's things I might have said, only wish I could. Now I'm leaking life faster than I'm leaking blood.
As the closest combat I've seen is when I played a VR shooter and forgot my real life, I don't quite know how he feels, but I know that you tend to get more clarity when you feel that your time is slipping away. So even though it's not the most romantic scene he's painting, it's a good sentiment to say what you want to say before you lose the chance. To stop myself going into the no man's land of self-help speak, I'll call it a day and leave it there. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see any of my other lyric breakdowns, check out this playlist here. See you next time.